Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and I've got the wrong thumbnail in the background. So you know what we're going to do to start it off? We're going to take that right out and just go old Info Warrior style. Even though my man Rand, he deserves to be in the background right now. Because Rand Paul, okay, he's the dude. I don't agree with Rand on everything. But when he's one of the only people that is willing to step up to the plate, okay, and tell the truth about really one of the biggest scandals out there. See, we got to get Rand behind me. There we go. My man Rand. And I'm not even talking about what? Obamagate. I know you want it to be about Obamagate, and we're going to talk about Obamagate, and that's what we'll kick it off with. That's not the scandal. The scandal is the Patriot Act still. And he just keeps coming with the hits. And because of that, we're going to go retro because freedom matters, and it's not about just the left. Remember, the Patriot Act came under the neocons and the right. We're going to show you a video from about 11 years ago, maybe more. May have been even more than 11 years ago, maybe 11 and a half, when I first went over the Amalgam Virgo document on the air. And that was during my first Info Warriors day. So we're going to play that, but we're going to play some clips of Rand Paul because freedom's very retro right now, if you haven't noticed. In fact, I just got another, I didn't get a copyright strike, but I got one of my videos age restricted because of content. And I got to review that and see, how legitimate it is because it was dealing with, some pretty hardcore content. But before we get into Rand, before we get into Obamagate, before we get into the Patriot Act, before we get into Amalgam Virgo, I have to remind everybody here, 100% demonetized on this platform. And I hope to stay on the platform because I've broken no rules. Okay? And this channel's been around for 13 years. It was films like Loose Change that helped build these platforms. Believe that. Okay? And so $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. I'm checking out right now, what is it? Fargo, North Dakota. I've been talking about like North Dakota, maybe outside of Fargo. I was looking at stuff today. Maybe there could be a trip in my very, very near future. We're talking within the next week or so. I think I may head out of this state just to check it out and really start to not only move, but hopefully move somewhere where I can actually grow this organization into something bigger than just me in front of a microphone. Although that's always hopefully going to be at the core of it, truthful reporting no matter what. And with that being said, guys, here's my man Rand. All right. Now, I want to make it very clear about Obamagate. The vast majority of this stuff has already been known for some time. I know there's the leaked phone call. We're not going to go over that right now. But we all knew this was a Brennan and Clapper operation, right? If you were paying attention to the various Seth Rich lawsuits, the families involved, the Seymour Hersh phone calls, you knew that it has been reported in a court that McCabe, the deputy director of the FBI, was Hersh's source that went inside, read a file that Seth Rich indeed was in touch with WikiLeaks and had given them sample files and even ended up with a paying mechanism. All right? And in that, he talks about it being a Brennan and Clapper operation. Now, that doesn't mean that Barack Obama and Joe Biden didn't authorize it or aren't involved, because they absolutely are, right? It's so obvious right now. And for everything you can say about Trump, they did what they said, what he said they did it to him. They illegally surveilled him. They entrapped Flynn. That's all real. It's been real from the get-go. When I read the Mueller report, I explained to you how they were trying to obfuscate the real facts in the WikiLeaks case. But at the same time, they're still going to try to bring Assange over here. So you can't give him a full pass. Now, Rand Paul pretty much eloquently breaks down that basically, Biden's done the same exact thing that the quote-unquote other side has done. But again, this is about the predator class, man. And they just didn't want somebody in there that was actually going to try to do what he said and get us out of war. And that's why you have a false flag attack in Duma that's been confirmed by OPCW documents. But again, Trump can't talk about them. But Rand Paul says it eloquently here. And then I'm going to bring up the Ukraine scandal because before that got turned on Trump into an actual impeachment, which is ridiculous, in a foreign affair, right? I mean, before that even happened, I was covering that because it was so corrupt that I wanted to see Joey B go under. Talking about withholding $1 billion unless they fire the prosecutor that happens to be investigating his son. So let's go, Rand.
This is a question from Fox of what impact should this have on Vice President Biden's campaign for president?
Every reporter in the country now needs to ask him a legitimate question. He needs to come out of hibernation, and they need to ask Vice President Biden, what kind of person eavesdrops? Is that something that we think is a legitimate function of government, to eavesdrop on your opponents without a warrant, to illegally unmask them and listen to their private conversation? No, from the very beginning, General Flynn's been treated very poorly by his country. A guy who served 33 years has been treated very poorly, but this is an abuse of power that should not rest, and it should make every American worry that if Vice President Biden were elevated to the top office, would he again use this kind of power on political opponents? And the other side needs to realize this is exactly what they were accusing President Trump of, but he was actually acquitted on that charge. They have now found that Vice President Biden is guilty of using government to go after a political opponent.
Without a doubt, 100%. And he's done it many, many times before. Like, Joe Biden's dirty. Again, Joe Biden helped cover up 9/11. Right now, there's, new news that they leaked this Saudi name. Go check out the Dark Overlord files and Khalid al-Mihdhar, and they're all in there, and they're still covering up Pakistan's role in 9/11. But they're still really not acknowledging the war games that went on during 9/11. Why am I bringing up 9/11? Because from 9/11, they passed the Patriot Act, folks. And we've had this ever-evolving police state and surveillance state, the track, trace, database society I have literally been talking about now for 15 years. It's here. And now's the moment, man. And that's why I'm getting out of New York, because I'm not going to have Bloomberg, Schmidt, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation reshape my future. I want a family. It's not going to be here. Okay, and I'm sorry, New York, I mean, the way that people are accepting this, especially the ones that are upstate, we're not happy about it. We're so not happy about it. But a lot of us feel helpless, and that was the plan. The plan was what? I kept saying it, no matter what. I said the solution, of course, is always going to be worse than the problem. Everybody freaked out on me because I was telling the truth about the actual virus, that we are hit with a bioweapon. Complicated issue. Right? But you look at this thing, and they are consolidating power. Bezos is getting richer and richer and richer, and whether they crash the dollar or not, it's the infrastructure they own. But the small businessman won't be able to open up his bar, his restaurant, so many other things. People got to understand we were really a consumer-based economy, and we've already let them grab our genitals for almost a generation, right? Grab our genitals for almost a generation to get on a plane. And when we talk about the future of travel, we went over that nightmarish Forbes article where they're talking about on-the-spot blood tests and getting there 4 hours early. So, that's why, when somebody says truth, we go there. So let's get to this.
The Patriot Act was begotten of the most unpatriotic of ideas, that liberty can be exchanged for security. The history of the Patriot Act shows that the exchange is a poor one. As our liberty wanes and wastes away, we find that the promises of security were an illusion. The history of the Patriot Act is really a history of how power corrupts and how bias and malfeasance grow when power is unchecked.
That's right.
The Patriot Act allows a secret court, FISA, to grant generalized warrants to collect personal data from millions of Americans. The spies who run these surveillance programs then lied for years and years to us. One of the most notorious of these liars was James Clapper. When cross-examined under oath by Senator Wyden, James Clapper denied that the government was collecting data on millions of Americans. A month later, the whistleblower, Edward Snowden, revealed that Clapper had lied. Snowden revealed that Clapper and others were using the Patriot Act to spy on virtually every American. Snowden revealed that the secret FISA court was allowing a single court order to command the collection of millions of Americans' personal phone data.
Now let's stop that there. It was going on before that. I'm going to promise you that eventually there'll be another revelation. But I already made that revelation. The mainstream media has done such a good job of ignoring some of the base facts surrounding the Patriot Act, the Track Trace Database Society. They'll never tell you about Hepting versus AT&T. They'll never tell you en masse about the secret server rooms that were with the telecom companies prior to 9/11 that were siphoning off all of that data. You got to remember, this is a long timeline of just the most egregious of tools against us. And just because it's publicly been rolled out in China doesn't mean it hasn't been covertly done here for so much longer. That's the truth.
Most members of Congress had no idea that this was going on. In fact, one of the authors of the Patriot Act publicly expressed his shock that such a massive surveillance of Americans was occurring with no notification of Congress. Clapper and others, though, said that's not true. They justified their actions by saying, we've been briefing the elite 8 congressmen. Who are the elite 8 and who made them elite? The elite 8 are the majority and minority leaders of the House and the Senate, and the majority and the minority leader of the Intelligence Committee in the House and the Senate. 8 people. When they were quizzed about this program, most of them said they couldn't remember ever being briefed on it. To those of us that prize the rights guaranteed in the Bill of Rights, the Patriot Act is a violation of our most precious rights. The Patriot Act in the end is not patriotic. The Patriot Act makes an unholy and unconstitutional exchange of liberty for a false sense of security. And I, for one, will oppose its reauthorization.
Thank you. Now, I want to bring it back to Amalgam Virgo. You know, back in the day, they said, that, you know, if you live through this, if you remember some of the lies, they always told us, you know, we had no idea that bin Laden was going to attack us or that he could attack us with planes. We were just running drills with bin Laden on the cover in June through the summer and into September, by the way, of hijackings and other types of planes. And we thought the number one guy was bin Laden. It was on there. So they lied and lied and lied and lied and lied. Now, today, I get to do this from an extra room in my house with a computer and 4 monitors. 1080p, I get to show you the actual document. You get to check it out, right? But I told you, we're going to go retro. But we'll do some throwbacking. We're going retro, folks, to a day. And you know, this is why I still got myself a soft spot for InfoWars and Jones, because they, again, say what you want about Alex Jones. He gave me an opportunity to do stuff like this and tell the truth to millions of people.
We are back. It's the InfoWar with Jason Burmis. I'm going to go over this document. We're going to shift some gears. We're going to continue to take calls. 888-201-2244 or 512-646-1776. Now, if you've seen my films, Loose Change, Final Cut, and Fabled Enemies, both of which available over at Infowars.com, we go over a drill called Amalgam Virgo. Now, Amalgam Virgo was a drill being run by NORAD through the summer just before 9/11. Now, what's interesting about this drill? Well, on the cover of the drill is a picture of Osama bin Laden. He's the main target. Then you get into it, and it's not only a cruise missile drill and a UAV drill, but it's also a suicide hijack drill. Now, they show you a diagram. This is, again, in Fabled Enemies, in Loose Change, Final Cut. You can watch them for free online, available on YouTube, available on Google Video. Please go watch these films. And you can see that there's a hijacking happening from Alaska into the Capitol, into D.C., into the Capitol building. It shows you the path. It's going there. We now have a document that not only confirms the Amalgam Virgo drill, which happened in June, just before the attacks, less than 3 months. There was a second part of this drill that never did occur, where FBI agents were actually going to hijack 2 separate aircraft and then land them at secure locations. Okay, but this happened again just before the attacks. This is Amalgam Virgo, and they have Amalgam Warrior in here, and they have Vigilant Guardian, and yes, they had hijack drills prior to 9/11, but we're going to get to that in a moment. 6/2/2001, suicide mission inside. What does this mean? That means that this hijacking happened inside the United States, and it was going to be a suicide mission inside the United States. Remember, all the propaganda was that they never thought that they would use planes as weapons. But we were drilling it 3 months beforehand. Haitian AIDS victims make deal with Colombian cartel to destroy a C2 node for southeastern U.S. And they are supposed to run an intercept and turn the target away or possibly shoot it down. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. Vigilant Guardian begins on 9/6/2001. And all of these drills, I just want you to see this, all the way down here, hijack. That's not me repeating any. That's 6 separate hijackings that happened 5 days before 9/11. 5 days before 9/11. And guess what? They were 747s. They were large aircraft. Do you understand? Now then, we have 9/9 and 9/10. Notice they don't have 9/11 here. Now, we've exposed what happened on 9/11 through the NORAD tapes when they're asking, hey, wait a minute, is this part of the drill? Or did the drill start early? Or we have bombs on board Delta 1989. Oh, we have a hijacking that's coming in from Canada. All of which occurred on 9/11, barely spoken about, or they call it the confusion, the fog of war. And then they try to deny that the drills were even going on that day. Meanwhile, you listen to the tapes, they called up Cheyenne Mountain 20 minutes after Flight 93, the 4th hijacking, had been downed and had to wait another 20 minutes on the phone for them to shut the drills off. Now here it is, 9/9/2001, a hijack. Outside, it starts in London, but guess what? It's going to JFK. Terrorists with explosives who plan to detonate them over where? Over New York City. So 2 days before 9/11, they're running drills of an aircraft being hijacked and exploding or bombing New York City. The day before 9/11, Vigilant Guardian still running. A special hijack is happening out of Havana, Cuba. And again, Cubans demanding political asylum demand to be taken to where? New York City. FAA requests NORAD support. FAA directs plane to Jacksonville based on input from DOS and DOT. Hijackers then demand Atlanta. Plane will land safely at Dobbins Air Force Base. So again, they're running more drills of hijackings involving New York City just before the attacks. Please go read this document. Posted it the other day on my Facebook, facebook.com/theinfowarrior. Get it in while you can, folks.
So there you go, guys. Get it while you can, folks. You can go find that on my Facebook. I wonder if they took it down. I posted that document back there. So, hey, man, like I said, Patriot Act still in effect. We do really have a predator class that runs the intelligence community. These people need to be exposed for what they are. And until we take, large swaths of them down and take our constitutional republic back, I don't know what else there is. Okay? So guys, thumbs this video up, subscribe and share if you are new. Again, $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. I'm thinking North Dakota. What are you guys thinking? I know I got a lot of people thinking not North Dakota. Go outside. There's 2 universities there. Maybe I get an office space on top of it, some interns, and we really turn this thing up. Because New York is not for me. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and check out Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture right here for free in the documentaries playlist section. I'm over on Minds as well. Come on, Minds, you got to load. Boom. Check me out over there. And remember, my Rockfin has tons of premium content you're not seeing anywhere else, including another throwback video where I go over some of the bombs and explosions that were reported prior to the first plane hitting. Oh, no, that's not real. Jason, you're a liar. Go check it out. It's only, I probably can't say that on YouTube anymore even though it's not me saying it. It's, a man who was literally in the lobby and blown up before the plane even hit. But don't take my word for it. If you're a premium member, you can go check it out right now. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you on the flip side.